TM.
This is iRacing.
Welcome, race fans, to another iRacing happy hour where we are live from the Red Bull Ring in Spielberg, Austria for some Formula Renault 3.5 action, Formula B racing on tap here on iRacing's channels for you. James Mike here alongside Keenan Kusin, ready to bring you all of today's action. And Keenan, this is a racetrack that is very high speed, lots of heavy braking zones, lots of drag races we'll see down straightaways, but because these Formula 3.5 cars don't necessarily have that much power, should be a lot of time that these drivers spend on the gas pedal.
I mean, the Red Bull Ring and a open wheel, open seater, like what a better combination, right? This kind of a match made in heaven. These Formula Renault 3.5s, 530 horsepower, not a whole lot of weight, under just over 1,500 pounds, 711 kilograms. I'm definitely not looking at a cheat sheet here. But, you know, very fast cars. You know, if you're used to something that's a little bit lower down the ladder, you're just working your way up the license ladder, definitely going to be something that's got, you know, some grunt to it. It's our second highest level here in open seaters and iRacing before you get into the big boy stuff, the Mercedes, the IR01. So with our drivers here driving these cars today, this is their last chance to kind of iron out the kinks before they move up to the big stuff.
Let's take a look at what is on tap for all of you as we get set to bring you the race analysis wherever you may be watching in the world. A good shot here of the Red Bull Ring, getting ready to work our way down towards the start-finish line from this point on the circuit. But it is the Formula Renault 3.5 car. 28 laps we'll go for. It's open setup, so you can tune and test and tweak whatever sort of setup bits you like. You do need a Class B road license, and if you're looking for this particular series on iRacing, races launch every odd hour at 45 minutes, so plenty of opportunity to get going if you want, Keenan.
Yeah, and this race is not going to be short. You know, I don't think it's going to be anywhere super long, but 28 laps isn't a short race. It's not a just borderline sprint, so not in the endurance side of it, but it's going to be a little bit longer if something you're used to is about 20 minutes, 15 minutes into the lower side of the license ladder. So these guys are going to need to be consistent, going to need to be smooth. May not be all about raw speed here, looking for the victory in this race here at the Red Bull Ring, but more so speed over the course of that 28 lap run.
And strategy, I think, is also going to play into this a little bit. You're going to have to be mindful of how you wear tires, how you manage fuel, because you've got that slightly extra distance. Because, like you said, Keenan, this is a series that is a little bit higher up on the ladder to Formula A racing. And if you want more information on how to start your iRacing career, you can log on to iRacing.com today. But, again, most of the drivers in this series have had some experience of wheel racing. This isn't necessarily their first go like you'd see with, you know, say, maybe the Skip Barber car.
Yeah, should be somewhere where a lot of these drivers have experience, at least in iRacing, at least in this discipline. Maybe not so much this car, but considering we are watching Top Split today, I do not think we're going to see a whole lot of first-timers here in the Formula Renault 3.5. Another thing, too, is it's going to sound incredible. These V8 engines, NA V8 engines before, you know, we went up all this turbo malarkey. In the little iRacing info page, it said that's how an F1 car should sound. So if it does get a little spread out today, which I don't think it will, I think it should be a pretty close race, but at least we're going to have a nice soundtrack in the background, James, as these drivers try to wrestle this car around this. Not a whole lot of corners here at the Red Bull Ring, but everyone just is so crucial.
And to the point that you made, everybody has experience here. Also, a reminder before we get going that if you haven't had the chance to check out the World of Outlaws dirt racing game, that is available now for Xbox One, Xbox Series X and Series S, PlayStation 4, and PlayStation 5. I have had a good amount of time with that and really have enjoyed my time with that game, Keenan, and could not recommend it enough.
Yeah, big fans of the devs for a long period of time. To see them work on something like this is kind of a dream come true. And the pairing between them and iRacing, turns out, has borne fruitful as the Woo video game doing great. Next thing up on the calendar is the Porsche Esports Super Cup Series at April 22nd from Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. So we'll be staying in Europe for our next broadcast. It's been a heck of a season so far. A lot of beat, a lot of bang, and Watkins Glen was a edge-of-your-seat race. And we expect them to provide the same show at one of the most historic racetracks in the world of Spa.
Figures that you would nail the French pronunciation on that, right? I'm leaving the French to you as the resident Canadian here. Right. As we look ahead, more in my wheelhouse, the eNASCAR College iRacing Series has its spring finale at Daytona International Speedway. You'll see the broadcast here on iRacing's channels April 25th, 8 p.m. Eastern. We'll see these drivers compete for the final bit of scholarship money available to our collegiate candidates this season. We've had a lot of good action in Logan Clampett trying to go 4 for 4 in the spring and best the record that Stephen Wilson set last fall when he won 3 races in a row.
As we work into qualifying here in this session, just wrapping up our warm-up, getting into qualifying again, it's going to be pretty important. There is 2 big passing zones here, James, of turn 1 and turn 3. They say it's turn 3. Don't believe them. It's turn 2, but it's technically turn 3, I guess. But so it's very fast, very flowing track in the back half. The first half is the easiest place to pass. You're going to be seeing a lot of moves off the start, but without any sort of DRS or anything like that, these big braking zones after the big straights are going to be only place to overtake, really. So qualifying position is going to be pretty important. If you could get up the field here, you got a shot at a really good day. Or if you're in the middle, you're probably going to be in the blender in lap 1.
Good look at Thomas Toulemont out of France, who makes his way around the circuit. The 2 big passing zones up at the hill at turn 3, like you mentioned, and then down that hill on the backside of the course, the uphill portion, and by turn 4, where you come in. We talked about it in our rehearsals. It's almost a double apex, turns 4 and 5,
yeah.
But those 2 braking zones in particular are the 2 best passing opportunities you have on this circuit. Maybe turn 1 as well. We've seen a few passes there, but 3 and 4 are the ones we're going to watch for overtakes today.
You said you're leaving the French to me, but you did great on that one. Toulemont, it's funny. His last name translates to everyone. Thomas Everyone. Shut up, Tom. I hope you're having a good afternoon. Looks like he's putting in a good lap here, using all the curbing there as we look at Fran Garcia in the 4 machine. Not good enough to be one of the first 2, so we'll be the 3rd one. And moving into the second half of the track. Again, just so important. I'm not sure. Yeah, they are at full speed. Using all the racetrack here, that's what's important, and something I don't think we talked about yet. Really easy to drop a tire off, especially in these last couple of corners, James. And because we are at an official session, this is something that you guys can sign up for. You can sign up for the next one if you like. It is going to be an incident limit. You're going to be seeing drive-throughs, and especially with these cars being so fast, being downforce cars, I wouldn't be surprised to see a couple of penalties.
That's a really, really good point, especially in that run between turns 9 and 10, the final 2 corners on the circuit. So often we see drivers go over the curves to try and increase their speed and lap time. This is look at Michael Schilab completing his lap in qualifying. But if you drop a wheel over and you get a 1x for going off track, do that enough and that adds up. So I think you're going to see something. If I think of Australian supercars and the curb strikes they have at Adelaide. It's a similar sort of system where if you go over too much, you end up with a penalty. You just want to make sure you avoid the 17x number. That is the magic number to avoid a pass-through penalty. As we look at this track analysis for the Red Bull Ring, Keenan, why not you take us through what we can expect from the circuit today?
Again, turn 1, Niki Lauda curve, very, very important. It's kind of uphill. You're going to be bouncing off the curb there. 2 curbs on the inside and the outside. Don't want to run that outside one a little bit too much, or you may do some damage. Could risk the car spinning out. Then the turn 2, as they call it, is the little left-hander leading into Remus, which is turn 3. Best passing zone on the track. Big straightaway leading up to it. Heading down the hill to turn 4. And then to the big rhythmic section, you see almost a double apex. So you get a little bit of breathing room between 6 and 7, which is Roush and the Worth curve. And then a little using all the curbing heading into the final straight before 9 and 10, which is Rint and Red Bull Mobile. Not sure why they named a corner after a cell phone, but hey, their racetrack, not mine.
Got to get with the times, Keenan. It's 2023. Everybody's got a mobile phone now, you would think, right?
Good point.
So, this is Lucas Rasquez on the racetrack, completing his laps. He currently is 12th on the board. We'll see whether or not he takes the opportunity to improve his lap time. He's one of the last drivers out in qualifying. Let's take a look here. This is Alberto Baroni that you see on your screens now. But the final few drivers trying to wrap up. We've got a minute and a half for these drivers to set some fast lap times.
Yeah, looking like we're going to have pretty well our grid set, and it's a little bit close up towards the front, but was expecting it to be a little bit more spread out as Gerard Bouldu makes his way through the first corner, heading down that big straight. You're going to see that second corner that isn't a corner at all. That's what I thought, heading into... Oh, no, I'm... You know what, James? That's why I wear glasses. Turns out I'm blind. That is the downhill section. Again, I think one of the best parts of this track is all the elevation change, because it's just a 10-corner track. If you're looking at the track map, you'd wonder why it's so infamous, so famous, I should say, among a bunch of different racing series, but it's how the track moves and undulates, and every corner's got a little bit of banking, a little bit of camber to it. And this last part of the track as well, just you have to be so on the limit, and there's so little room for error. As a driver, it's a ton of fun around here, especially the second half.
Especially when you consider this is an open setup race. This also isn't a circuit that you can completely try and adjust for downforce or outright speed. You do have the long straightaways to open up the lap, but if you tweak your setup so that you have more speed down the straightaways, then you're likely giving up time in that central section of the track. But you get past turn 4 is a nice little drift slide out of turn 1. I know you know that sort of thing well, Keenan, but like I was saying, you can't set yourself up perfectly for that very downforce heavy section in the middle of the course, because you're going to lose a little bit of time there. So you have to sort of find a balance in between the two.
Sacrifices must be made, James.
Yes, sacrifices must be made.
But so that will do it for qualifying. Your number one qualifier going to be Marlon Morden, putting it on pole by about 3/10, I think. And second on the row, Yuki Shirakawa going to be in the 2 car with Eric. That's a name and a half. Eric Wierzyminski going up against Carlos Dershado, with Victor Aud in the left side of row 3, and then Dennis Cordu going to be rounding out your first 3 rows.
Thomas Tullibon will roll off from the 7th position. 8th on the grid is Jorge Lopez Exposito. Luke Brooker starts in the 9th position. 10th on the grid is Fran Garcia, Nicolas Maranel, and Alec Ghostman complete the top 12.
You're leaving me all the vowel names. Thanks, man. Lucas Beschewitz and Bob McDonald are going to be in row number 7, with row number 8 being Michael Shalab and Mikhail Shergiel. Stephanie Valhalla and Wouter Populier are going to be in row number 9.
Alberto Baroni and Gerard Boldu complete our top 20 on the grid. Maximilian Thiele, Olaf van der Speck, and Alberto Cuesta making up the final 3 spots in this 23-car grid. Once again, 28 laps on tap. Once these drivers find their way to the grid, it is a standing start for this series. So once they all get gridded up, we will not be too far away from action. Just waiting for the final few drivers to set themselves in line and get us set for 28 laps of racing here at the Red Bull Ring. Lots of fun in these Formula 3.5s. This is the Formula B series here, a little bit further up the ladder, as we mentioned just a little bit ago. Not quite Formula A, but you've had some experience with D-Class and C-Class racing. There is a full ladder of competition in iRacing that you have to go through in order to get just to this sort of thing. But spend some time, take some time to get to know the open-wheel cars. They are a tremendous amount of fun as we wait on the final few drivers to join us on the grid. We are close to green flag racing and close to the lights going out here at the Red Bull Ring. There, the lights are off, and we are underway at the Formula V series here at the Red Bull Ring. Big jump for Yuki Shirakawa is born on trying to make things happen and get through this corner. Everybody making their way through turn 1 car off on the side, but everybody for the most part through cleanly. Keenan.
Yeah, it looks like we got one car side by side. Dennis and Thomas in the 5 and the 7. Dennis Cornu and Thomas Suleiman, the only cars currently. Well, I say that, they're a huge battle behind them as well. All fading out. Looks like the leaders are going to try to check up and check out, but for jockeying for position. And that's why we said, James, that qualifying was going to be so important around here. You don't want to be caught up in that midfield battle while everyone kind of jockeys around for position while the leaders take off.
There's a good look at Marlon Mordan trying to make a move around Eric Wazimski, who was able to jump up ahead and get the spot. Mordan dropping 2 spots from the start. He didn't get the best of launches off the grid as Yuki Shibakawa is out in front by maybe 4 or 5 car lengths.
Yeah, Yuki not qualifying towards the front, but having a decent qualifying time. I think about 5/10 of a second separated the first 6 drivers. So if Yuki can just put their head down right now and start clicking off the lap times, they could open up a little bit of a gap. 28 laps here, but qualifying times in around the 1:15. So not going to be the longest race in the world, but just kind of stretching it out of sprint territory. As we clock off lap 1. No major incidents, James Pike, here on the first lap. Gotta tell you, little surprised, as I really did expect carnage, as I think we do have 2 cars side by side now for second place.
Mordan trying to find a way around Wazimski to get the second spot. What a crossover there to try and set yourself up for one of these 2 passing opportunities. There's one car up on the racetrack just outside of turn 1, a little bit further back in the field.
Yeah, I think that was Olaf Vanderspeck, as I heard him key up on the mic there a little bit, but we're going to be moving back up around through the field here a little bit more. Unfortunate for those 2 guys, but still lots of race left. Opposite the cars looked okay after that contact. As we take a quick look at that back, take a quick look at that, as you can see, going into turn 1, just misses the braking point a little bit, and boom! Man, he owes some dinner after that one. He just cleaned him out. No chance for him to react there as he pushed him off. Again, not a whole lot of damage, I think. Oh, no, he's definitely crabbing a little bit. Just ignore me, Chad. I don't know what the heck I'm talking about. I don't know why they brought me here. But, yeah, no. Unfortunate, but it's just kind of the way this goes. You got to take chances, especially early on in the race. You don't want to be locked into that draft train.
It was a big hit. Maximilian Thiele was the one who got into Michael Shalab. Shalab's got a tremendous amount of damage on that front right, and Thiele's got damage on the wing on the left-hand side. We'll see how that affects him in this race. But everybody in the top 5, top 6, pretty well strung out. You have to go back here. Ali Ghostman, Luke Brooker, really your first battle for position.
Let's see 2 cars side by side here. Jorge. I just read his name without actually saying it.
You do French,
Jorge.
Not Spanish. You do French.
Yeah, you're right, man. I'll keep the Spanish use. Jorge Lopez Exposito and Nicola Marinel. Apologize in advance to anybody racing in this if I mispronounced your name. iRacing is not responsible for my poor pronunciations. To be right on board with Lucas Rakasiewicz at the tail end of this little group here. Trying to get to the gearbox of Luke Brooker. Thank goodness he has a pronounceable name. As we move on to the battle 8 through 12. This seems like to be where the bulk of your action is here in this Formula B race. James, again, top drives pulled away a little bit. There is a little bit of tussling towards the back, but this is where the main fight is, and usually I think will be. A lot of these guys are pretty close on pace qualifying. We're pretty close.
There's a good look here at your leaders where Yuki has managed to hang on to the lead for the moment, but that pace that Marlon Mordan showed in qualifying, putting up that top time and starting first in the grid, starting to show here because he was 0.3 faster that last lap on Yuki Shibakawa. So interesting to see how that will play out. Also, if you're watching on twitch.tv/iRacing, we are watching that as we go through the race here. So if you want to give us a little bit of pronunciation help, I know
please.
I'm looking at Ali Ghostman's name, and I think I'm close, but I don't know all of the Turkish pronunciation rules. So I'll openly say, if you know how to get that right, I'll take the phonetic spelling in chat easy. And if you want to tag Mr. Aerotech in this, I know he's seen things, right? Maybe.
You wouldn't believe it, James, but I do know how to read. Once in a while, my eyes do work.
They do be popping, though.
They do be pop. They put glasses on me because I needed it. But yeah, as we move back in the field here a little bit, again, battle closing up for the lead, but we do have another little scrap for 16th and 17th. Alberto Baroni and Mikhail Schertl. Schertl trying to close the gap to the 20 machine of Alberto Baroni. Just trying to push there. Again, pointed out in chat, remember how I said there was no DRS in this car? I lied to you once again. I'm just telling nothing but fibs today. As there is a type of DRS, apparently, if we trust OHey12 in the chat. I'm not sure we should, as Luke Brooker making a move on the outside, coming into turn number 3. See if he can make his stick really hard to hold speed on the outside here just because of the way the corner is curved. He's not going to get it, but he's going to get a run down the straightaway, almost in the grass, being pushed to the inside there by Ali Ghostman in the 16. He is not having it. My man wants this top 10, as Luke is going to keep that look on the outside, and I don't think he can get it done. Can he get the cross back, though? Not quite. He's going to get a little bit of a run. This battle's still going on. Neither of them refusing to yield.
So Brooker sort of slammed the door on Ghostman coming out of turn 3, and that's a move where I look at that and I'm thinking to myself, maybe Ghostman will pull out and Brooker will pull out there. Actually, Brooker, yeah, was the one. Yes, Brooker was the one who stopped. Maybe that's a move that you let happen now, but if we get closer to lap 28, maybe you try and just go on the grass. I feel like that's a case where it's early enough where you're willing to give some track position up just to make sure that you have a car to race with at the end, which might be important.
I mean, it's officials too. I'm trying to make friends if I'm you. I don't want to make people mad, especially with this much race left. Because if you try to go for a bit better of a move, you have a bit better of a run, you get blocked from a guy you kind of rustled the jimmies of a little bit. Not the best move. As I say, Luke going to go up the inside again. Not going to make that happen, but he spooked him there a little bit, though. I'm not sure if he's going to get the run out of the corner. He kind of expected to be alongside. If he would have taken his normal line, he might have the speed here, but I think Ali going to hang on to that position for at least one more corner, but Luke is digging. He really wants this 10th spot.
I'm waiting to see if Lucas Rascowitz can come up with something here. I feel like with these two battling, if he can set something up and just sort of let these two go at it, that there will be an opportunity, and you can maybe make the argument to Victor Odd, too.
Oh, and he's backwards. That's not going to help the battle whatsoever. Luke Brooker, not sure if he had help with that or if he had just a bit of a heavy right foot, but the grass is not the ideal line, my guy. So he's going to drop down the field a little bit. Looks like he's going to cycle out about 16th or 17th. He's going to slot right into this battle for 14th, I think. So he's out of one battle into another one. But that is that battle closed. And I think you pointed it out really good, James, is that he brought Lucas right up to Ali. So Ali went, whoo, I finally get Luke out of my mirror. He's got another one, as we do have a battle for the lead emerging.
Malamodan has closed this gap little by little by little. It's been usually a 10th or 2 tenths over the last few laps. I've been paying attention to timing and scoring just to see where he lands. But Marlon is right there, and you figure give it maybe another lap or two. I think we may legitimately see a battle for the race lead, because I think Modan's pace is definitely there. He's just a little bit faster than Shirakawa at the moment.
Yeah, and again, we do get those 8 DRS pushed to past things as we take a quick look back at that incident with Brooker, I do believe. Again, just kind of pushing into the corner. We'll see if he gets help here. I'm not sure if he did. Looks outside of Ali that tries to cut back in. All right, I thought that was the corner it happened. Once again, never trust me. I am the untrustworthy narrator. Oh yeah, he just goes in a bit hot. Thinks the car can hold it, does not hold it. Luckily, no damage. You'll be able to get back out there and salvage some iRating out of this. But right back onto this battle for the lead. You said it. You said it best, James. He's just been chipping away at this. You know, maybe not climbing and biting into this gap, but you know, half a tenth here, a tenth there, a half a tenth here. He's right on the gearbox of Yuki, and Yuki had about, I don't know, like a half-second lead.
I think I might have seen, was that Olaf Vanderspeck who was just parked there over in turn 3 for a split second? I noticed that.
He's having a nap.
Yeah, just a little nap as you go on board. Malon Modan looking to the inside again. And I almost wonder if this is a cat and mouse game at this point, where Marlon's just trying to set up Yuki for a move somewhere and get in Yuki's head and make Yuki think, oh man, this move could come here, it could come there, it could come anywhere. And if you get a driver's brain thinking like that about all the places where you may have to worry, they start paying attention about what's happening behind and start paying less attention about what's happening in front. And then you end up usually making a few more mistakes. So this is interesting gamesmanship, I would say, from Alain Mordan to try and take away the race lead. Also, a big thank you to Just Caution in the Twitch chat for nailing that
trust
down.
his Turkish. It's
right.
his Turkish. This is all hinging on Discaution now. So if you are Turkish and you are watching this and we start to mispronounce the 16's name, that's the man responsible right there. I see him. He's right in chat.
Ale Gokman, or Gokman, I think that's a hard C. I'm trying to think of Fenerbahce.
German. That sounds German to me.
Almost, yeah. Well, I mean, in fairness, there's a lot of crossover between Turkish and German culture now, especially when you consider the amount of immigration that has happened in Germany and the amount of Turks that have moved to Germany. So that honestly doesn't surprise me all that much.
I didn't think we'd be having a language lesson here, but with all the vowels and umlauts in this session, I guess I'm not surprised. But yeah.
So Gosh. Okay, so Goshman, so Ale Goshman. Okay,
that makes sense.
We're sort of live doing this, right? But hey, we've got 166 people in Twitch chat, so I figured that someone in this bunch would know how to get that right.
We're all part of the commentary team today.
Exactly.
That's why they call it a team. Everyone, let's all hold hands. We can all do this together. But again, I think he might just be waiting, James. He definitely had pace, and I just looked at the last lap. Again, not by much. But he's starting to match times with Yuki Shirakawa now. But I don't know if he's just going to say, hey, if we battle, we're going to fall into the grips of Eric Rozonski and Carlos Rico behind him. But I think it just might be smart just to hold station. They're both quick. They're matching pace with the cars behind him. Just take a look quick there. For there is a battle for 5th as well. And again, Luke Brooker dropping into that big wad of battle for 16th.
Okay, so you've got the race for the lead between Shirakawa and Mordan up top. The battle you see on the bottom left is for 5th. It's Thomas Tulemon and Dennis Cornu. And then 16th is the battle you see on the bottom right of your screen. That's Michael Schotter, Bob McDonald, and Maximilian Thiele.
And I'm glad that you pointed that out, because we've established that I can't read. So
I can't speak French by comparison to you.
We're getting there together, man. What we established is I can't read, you can't speak French, and neither of us can speak Turkish.
So we're all in this together, right?
It's not High School Musical, Jake. Your name's not even Jake. What am I doing here? what is happening?
I mean, if Jim's easier, you could just go.
Just start calling me Kevin. Might as well.
No. Hi, Kevin.
Box there for that battle for 16th. Dropping back there myself. Saw Bob take a shout out to Bob McDonald for having a name I actually know how to say. In his very successful chain of restaurants. But looked like we went off the track right in front of them too. Again, nice little battles kind of.
Spin! Shirakawa spins out of turn 1 and loses the race lead as a result. That's Mordan out of the front, but he just overcooked it and got on the gas a little bit too early, and there was an immense amount of oversteer that came off of the outside curbing. And Shirakawa now back to 7th after leading the race, but that's exactly what I was talking about. I think that the mind games that Mordan was playing with Shirakawa eventually got in Shirakawa's head, as we'll take a look at the replay and show you this pass for the race lead entering turn 1.
All right. So take a look at your leader here, Yuki Shinakawa, going to go a little bit wide. We talked about that a little bit, James, in the pre-race broadcast. There is a sausage curb on the outside there. That's a no-no curb. You don't want to touch that one. And I think he just hooked it with his left rear. I don't know if he'd be able to save that slide, but that compression of the left rear suspension definitely did not help. Yuki going to be in 6th place now. Not the worst place to be, and he's definitely got some pace on the guys around him. But Marlon actually, because he's from France, played it right and did everything he needed to do. Just was smart and said, I'm going to hold, see if I can pressure Yuki into a mistake. And now he's walking away with that lead. As we move back a little bit back to that poor man sat there and told us how to pronounce this man's name. And unfortunately, I'm a Twitch streamer, so I retain.
All right, let's try it. Ale Gosman, I think, based off of what Discaution told us, is the right way to say it. But it's him and Victor Aad. It's tough. How would you elide that UA there?
We have Fran Garcia around as well now. Dropping back down the order. Going to be at the lead end of this little pack now, but here we go. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Battle's going to be heating up here for 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th as Fran trying to hang on with maybe some hot tires, but he's got 3 hungry at Formula 3.5 drivers behind him now.
All right, so Garcia, Goshman,
all around the outside. A big walk up from Fran. He's going to lose all those positions. Fran Garcia. Oh, then we got another one on the grass. Ali, no! You were the chosen one, Ali. We had spent all that time. He's got the broadcast open. That's the problem. Victor now, all calamity happening in the middle of the field here, James.
Maybe he needed to use the force if he was the chosen one, perhaps. Perhaps. Just a passing thought.
I'm not going to do him like that. He's having a bad enough day.
I mean, birthday Star Wars Day, so I don't know if birthright is the right word, but I feel like I could use those references as we get a good look further up the field. This is Luskis Raskowitz now and Fran Garcia, who did a really nice job of just sliding in the corner. He, I think compared to Ale, he sort of just slowed down and recognized that he wasn't going to make the corners, so he made the best of the bad situation and say, let me just slide, and then I'll stop, and I'll make sure I don't lose too much ground. And we look at Ale's replay here, and Mr. Goshman just went right off, and I got a little bit of help, I think, actually. He got help, I think, as I look at that. That was contact. That was definitely contact that we saw.
Yeah, you saw the camera kind of shake and shimmy shake there, but went from the defender to the attacker, and unfortunately it didn't work, and we are not done with this battle for ninth. Ladies and gentlemen, these gentlemen know they're on the TV right now, as the leader of this battle is going to be the 14 of Lucas Raskowitz, trying to hang on to ninth place as they are side by side behind him with Fran and Victor Oad.
You did not just do that.
Sure did.
All right, fair enough.
He's in South Africa. What's he going to do? He's asleep.
Fair. Also, look at the back end of Fran's car. Where did the engine cover go?
He's got extra cooling now. That's got to be at least another 50 horsepower. This man's figured it out. Let's see if he's got the legs on the straightaway here. I wonder how much that actually is going to affect. How did he lose the engine cover?
That's a good... I really don't know. I honestly, we'd have to go back and see the replay. But yeah, so to be fair, it's an aero thing at the end of the day that will affect him. But losing the rear end like that on quarter exit is not exactly how you want these things to work.
Yeah, I don't think I'd be too worried about these low-speed corners. Victor is gonna take a look on the inside of Fran. If I'm Fran, I'm not really holding him up too much. It's kind of maintaining now. You don't want to lose too much more from where you are. He's gonna try to hold it on the outside. Brave from the 4 machine of Fran Garcia. Can he get him cleared? Not quite. Still side by side going into turn number 4. Gonna have the inside advantage. No crossover available. But here we go. That is the pass complete as we take a look at that move once again.
All right, so this is the contact between Ale Goshman and Fran Garcia. And right, there was the contact there. And also we have AMR Chrissy in chat making the astute point that the engine cover off of Garcia's car took off when he and Goshman made contact. So that would explain that one. So chat's our honorary research of the day. If we could get them jobs at the Elias Sports Bureau, then I definitely would put a good word.
Chat's third chair, but they're being paid in ice cream sandwiches. Unless they're lactose intolerant, then they're not being paid at all. But the battle still...
No, lactate ice cream sandwiches, duh.
Is that a thing?
They're like lactose-free, sugar-free, almond milk, soy milk. We can, if you have some sort of allergic something or other, we can find an ice cream sandwich for you.
This battle's not sugar-free though, because Victor is not pulling away from Fran. We see a little bit of smoke here, and I heard some sorries in the chat, in the race chat rather. We have one car slow on the inside. Not really sure who that is.
About Cuesta.
Yeah, I was like, I think that's somebody a lap down because they're not even showing up in my timing here. They are not moving like at all. Like there's 2 cars which are going very, very slow. So lap traffic gonna start playing a role here. Perhaps again, the next car up is 51 seconds behind the leader, so we might be seeing that become a factor. Keep an eye on that as this race continues. Again, that battle for ninth. And on back, again, look at them. That is the 3.5 500 horsepower V8 supplied by what company, James? You want to remind me again?
Renault.
Attaboy. Proud of you.
I'm getting better.
Pre-race French lessons paid off a little bit.
All right, yeah, nice. So no, what I love about this shot though is you can see all the artwork here. Greg Hill and company just digging in and making this look absolutely gorgeous all the way down to the way. Watch the way that tire moves with the suspension and the upper and lower control arms on that right rear wheel. Beautiful.
You know, the on-track battles are cool and all, but sometimes it's just nice to take a look back and be a nerd for 5 minutes. As it's happily, we don't have to really decide, as Victor is still looking for a way around Fran Garcia. I really thought this was going to have more of an effect to the car. If you take a look at the lap times, they're not hot, but he's running the same pace as the cars around him. In fact, 4 or 5 tenths a lap quicker than the 11 last time. Not sure if that was due to the battling, but they're all in the 1:18.2 range, the 14:4 and the 11. So if this man is matching lap times with 80% of the car, heck of a drive from Fran Garcia right now. We'll have to see if they can hang on to it.
Right. So also, I feel for AMR Christian in chat. Strap throat, that's no fun. Yeah, ice cream would be good. So we can send virtual ice cream away. Also, Keenan, to your point earlier about us choosing when we can be nerds, you say that as if us being nerds ever stopped.
Speak for yourself, James. I'm a consummate professional. I've never once made a joke in my life. Never laughed in my 29 years of existence. I am nothing but, if not serious. I'm wearing 2 ties right now. You just can't see it.
¿Por qué no los dos, señor?
You couldn't decide, so I wore both. So if so you're looking at me from the back, I still have a tie. Guess for the job you want, not for the job you have.
Exactly.
Oh, let's go backwards. Oh, that's a curve, my friend. You don't want to do that. Fran Garcia, second mistake of the race. Caught it. Didn't even lose a spot. I think just got a little loose on braking there. You want to kind of track wide and use the curbing on and braking, but I don't think that car is as healthy as Fran has led us to believe. Got all that work to do all over again as the battle for second and third starts to heat up here. Eric Wiernowski, that's not even close, but that's what I'm going to go with, is starting to close the gap to Carlos.
All right, Carlos Derecho and Eric
Go for it, champ.
Wiernowski. I don't know if I don't know if that W's a V. That could be, but
it's Polish, maybe.
Right, exactly. That's why. So I know I'm close with that. The Zimski part, I know. I just don't know if it's we or V.
I need practice on my Polish kind of area.
Especially because of German, I know W's or V's. So
yeah. I mean, I do know one Polish driver with a V. So perhaps
so Zimski.
I mean, I'm with it if you're with it. I'll go out on that hill together if you want.
Right. Well, you have Tulabond is running just behind them, so if you end up stumbling here, you're in good shape. And he's not out of this battle either. That's the other thing. If we, get back to talking about the race, like if we saw it earlier with Yuki Shirakawa, who's made his way back up to 5th since that spin in turn 1, by the way. But if you see Derecho, if you see Wierzymski or Tulabond have some sort of issue, then Yuki's right in the mix for a podium position. Is surprise, Fran and Victor are battling again.
I swear these two have the broadcast open. They could just chill now. I mean, they're not really racing for too much, maybe trying to minimize iRating loss on the 4 and trying to gain iRating for the 11, but they are not giving up. 2 tough customers. And again, iRating would be how these drivers were even split. If this is your first time watching any sort of official iRacing, all these drivers separated by their skill level, which is their iRating, which is also pertaining to the number on the car. Not always important, but something to keep in mind, especially when you're in the races. For more information, you can always go to iRacing.com. Join the service today. May even catch me and James out there on the track, especially if one of these guys, oh my goodness, not Victor. Fran not happy with that one at all. But Victor doing a little bit of argy-bargy, a little squeezy-wheezy there on the exit of turn 1. I feel like if Fran gets back to him, we're in for a heck of a scrap here. Also, thank you to Dirty Kuhai in chat for confirmation that the W in Eric Wierzymski's name is in fact pronounced as a V. So so we need to work on your French and your Japanese. Understood. Got it. No, just came in chat and said my Japanese is just fine. So I'm good there. It's Kohai, not Kuhei or whatever you just. Well, I wasn't sure if that was French to begin with. Negative. That is that is Japanese for. Gotcha. Okay. All right. So good catch there. Yeah. You actually would know Japanese. I've watched an anime once. Yeah. I watched them initially in my time. Okay. Yeah. Fair. You got credit on me. As we remind you that if you are a new member jumping into iRacing, you can log on and get 40% off of your new membership, so you can join us and start racing on iRacing. You might see Keenan through
What do you do? Honestly, I feel like every time I see you in the sim, it's the Jetta and Production Cup, and that's like your baby for the most
You
part.
can't anymore. They put my boy to rest finally after however many years of loyal service. You can catch me in the jumpy trucks now. I'm doing a lot of off-road stuff. Been a lot of fun. Obviously, this isn't dirt road, but I'm sure Chris Leone somewhere is pumping his fists. But for any of those who have not given it a try, the only reason it stinks is because nobody does it. So if we get some people doing it, but the beauty of iRacing games is you can basically do whatever you want whenever you want. You can jump from a full throttle Talladega race into a rallycross, into this, into Miatas, into basically whatever you want to do. iRacing's always got something for you.
I just saw Fran get around Victor again. Was there a slowdown for Victor somewhere? Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if that was like Victor. That'd be really funny if slow down possible, but I like the narrative of Victor just thinking about it for 3 laps and going, yeah, that pass was a little aggressive, and letting him by like 2 laps later. That's way funnier to me, so that's the one I'm going to go with.
Change the narrative to fit your mood. I can get down with that. That's not bad. That's not all.
Yeah. I mean, it's we are the commentators. We tell the story. We get to decide what the story is.
So, and these are our 2 best battles. You see this battle with Fran and Victor, 10th and 11th, and then Ale and Luke Brooker, 12th and 13th, just behind on the edge of your camera. Those 2 were the closest battles for position on track at this moment, so we're keeping a close eye on those. If you're wondering about our leader, Malamodin, he is up in front of Carlos Derecho by about 3.8 seconds, so not much there, unless we see some sort of incident. But this group right here, the one where all the action is, which has been the case for most of this race, Keith.
I'm really excited to see if Luke can get to the back of Ale, because both of these guys, just mentally, made a mistake, and that's okay. Mistakes happen. But I think they're both going to be on recovery drives, so maybe driving a little bit more aggressive than they normally do. Every spot's going to matter to both these gentlemen here as well. And Luke getting a couple of races before work, or maybe my man just, both of them running a little wide there, but maybe just not getting the best of sleep. So Luke playing at 7 o'clock in the morning in thereabouts. I'm sure Australia's got some different time zones, but it's wherever he is in Australia, it's early. So we salute you, Luke. Get some eggs and bacon in you, whatever they have in Australia for breakfast. Do we have any we definitely have one. I saw Devils earlier. We definitely have one Australian in chat. But yeah, I'm really stoked to see these 2 battle, because I think it's going to be a heck of a scrap if Luke can get to him.
Yeah, think about it. If he's on the East Coast and he's Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, anywhere, then it's about 7. If he's in Perth, it's like 5 in the morning. So at this stage, it's a big difference.
Fran with a whoopsie poopsie there. There's a little bit of smoke coming from that battle. I can't believe this dude's boxing is heavy with half a car. This is excellent. Why did we say Vegemite? We messed that up.
VG? Where is the hard E?
My whole plan, James, was to keep pronouncing it differently, just to keep everybody guessing, and you've ruined it immediately. Just as we look back, we see another spin. Bob McDonald having a snooze in the Armco there.
Not good, Bob.
Yeah, that is Bob has not moved as we go to the battle for 15th, which is actually now 14th, because Bob has exited the chat. But Alberto Baroni going to be hanging on to 14th spot here with Stefan Van Hal and Maxim Thiel giving chase. You can take a look at that incident with Bob McDonald.
So let's see what happened to Bob here. He was right in the mix for these positions coming up to turn 3 and ended up in trouble. Was it the curbing that threw him off? I would say it was the contact.
Sure wasn't.
That was, he got help is the answer there.
I was going to say, because he sat there in stunned silence for a good 10 to 15 seconds. There's no way my man just spun it and then head-handed. He definitely had some help. A little bit of a body check there, but I don't think this race is over by any means. 5 laps to go here, thereabouts. Lap 23 of 28. As Marlon, our leader, calling for blue flags with a car about 10 car lengths ahead of him. I'm not sure if the aero wash is going to be that significant, but Marlon's got a 4-second lead. Not sure, you just got to relax and finish out the rest of this race here as we jump on back to the battle behind him. This is where all the excitement is in the tail end of this field.
Yeah, this is Lucas Raskus getting around Dennis Kornu. That's 8th and 9th that have just swapped hands amongst those two drivers. Also, do we need to bring up... I feel like if you need to know how to pronounce Vegemite, I always think of Land Down Under from Men at Work, where they talk about the man giving him the bite of the Vegemite sandwich.
Are they Australian, or was that were they?
No, they actually are. I'm like
okay.
99.9% certain they actually are.
All right, I always was under the impression they weren't Australian. They made a song about Australia just because they thought it was funny. I'll take your word for it, but yeah, we can refer back to that, I suppose, as we stay on with this battle for 14th. Going to be a big ask to close that 1.1 second gap, but right behind Maximilian Thiele is Stefan Van Hal. Not sure if Max has any damage from that light tap to Bob McDonald, but if he does, he's certainly not showing it, as everybody else starting to spread out a little bit here towards the crescendo of this race here, James.
What's wild here is that if we jump up a little bit further, we're starting to see a lot of this group right around 10th come back together. Lucas Raskus is clear of Dennis Kornu by about 1.1 seconds, so he's starting to lead this picture. But Victor Odds in the mix, our man Fran Garcia is in the mix, Ale Goshman is right there too, Luke Brooker is also there, and then you could stretch it a little bit further back. Maximilian Thiele's got some work to try and catch up to Baroni, who's got plenty of work to get to Luke Brooker, but lots of action there right around the top 10, which has been right around 10th has been the place you need to go.
Yeah, I think 5 car got a little bit of damage here, so he's just hanging on for dear life and see if we can keep Victor Awad behind him. Victor been really aggressive today, so I don't think he's going to wait, especially in the closing stages of this race. Not sure he'll get any more positions than this one, but hey, you're a driver on the racetrack. Every position is a position. So the 11 car here trying to see if we can find a way around Dennis Kornu for 9th position here in the tail end of this race.
If you do not go for a gap that exists, you are no longer a racing driver.
You can't say that. You jinxed them. No, we're so good.
I most certainly can say that. I for my money, I think he's the greatest driver that's ever lived. Fun fact.
I was gonna come up with some sort of a witty quip of some driver who wasn't as good, but couldn't come up with one. Taka Inoue.
Yeah, I like that. Our producer just came in our ear and said that one of our production guys, one of Cisco Scaramouza, might not quite be on the same level as Ayrton Senna. But then again, few of us are as you see this battle. So Victor gets around Dennis there, and Fran Garcia. Fran, the man with no engine cover at all, is right on the edge of a top 10 at the end of all this.
He's just letting it all hang out. He's free airing it. I'm telling you, the extra 50 horsepower playing in... That's a joke, by the way, if anyone's listening.
I'm about to say, you probably should make sure that the people understand that.
So we have one guy with the wing damage and another with no engine cover at all. It's the battle of the damaged cars here. Going to see if Fran can keep it on the inside. Had some trouble on the braking today. It looks like those front tires are nice and cooled down, but they're still going to stay side by side heading into corner number 4 here at the Red Bull Ring. Again, nice and downhill. You're not going to be able to brake as hard as you're used to on the other 2 corners, but he is going to get the pass completed. Goes to box him out, but no real need to it. And that is Fran Garcia with a missing engine cover sneaking their way into the top 10.
Top 10 for Fran Garcia. How fantastic is that after everything that's happened? Oh, okay. All right. I'll let me get up. That's a winner.
Yeah, listen, I am nothing if not always thinking of more clever puns. Waiting for Luke back here to do something so I can hit him with Luke the Looker Brooker. Going up. So, as I say that, he disappeared. Excellent. Okay, maybe let's not look at Luke. But yeah, this is our last little battle here. 2 laps to go here, James, as I think the battle for the lead is all but wrapped up. All the excitement coming towards the tail end of this field. 12th, Ale Gochman. And Luke the Looker Brooker still trying to see if he can get that nose inside of the 16.
Did you watch wrestling before you came on here?
Sure did.
Okay, all right. That explains where that came from then. So, Ale Goshman, Luke Brooker. I think at this point I kind of have that down.
You see all men were created equal, but if you look at him, you look at Luke, you see that statement is not true.
Some people have orange cars.
But if they can close this gap to the 5 here a little bit, it'll be a 3-way here at the Red Bull Ring. And we had you add Dennis Corner to the mix, your chances of winning drastic go down.
Right, as Marlon Mordan has taken the white flag to begin the final lap here of Formula B action at the Red Bull Ring. Still some good battles in the back of the field, but he is clear by 5.8 seconds, and the man with the fastest qualifying time jumping in, getting speed. Didn't get the greatest start, but he's been consistently the fastest driver over the course of the race.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, all he had to really do was his lap times have actually come down, if you believe it, using this low fuel to his advantage, setting at 117 flat. Don't think he's got the purple lap of the race, but a pretty gosh darn close, as Carlos is doing everything in his power to try to chase down this 3 machine, but I do not think it's going to be enough unless we have some sort of issue with lap traffic. Marlon Mordan just doing everything he needed to do to secure this big dub here in the Formula Renault 3.5, and coming into the last couple corners here, James just played it smart, did everything he needed to do, as we have a heck of a battle still, and that's going to be Ali around right in Bob McDonald corner. Going to take a nap there as the battle is not over. Luke Brooker is now in the conversation for 11th.
Brooker there. Here comes Mordan across the line to win the race. He takes care of business, gets the done, and then trouble their back. Oh, no!
Oh, he turned him. Luke Brooker using the pin to his advantage, getting right into the bumper that doesn't exist of the 5. He already had a broken wing, but Luke Brooker going to be coming out on that one smiling in 11th spot with his fastest lap of the race as well. He picked up 2 spots there in the last lap. Luke Brooker, maybe not the cleanest move, but it doesn't matter on the timing sheet.
So Brooker into corner at the end of that. Goshman spun around on own free will there. And that's why Ali Goshman is back to 13th at the end of all this. Meanwhile, here's battle a little bit further back. This is Maximilian Thiele trying to chase down Alberto Baroni, but Baroni will take 14th. Today unofficially 15th, and Michael Scherdel coming across the line here, working his way the last 3 corners, lined up for a 16th place finish in this Formula B race at the Red Bull Ring.
Yeah, good little fights here all around. Really good driving for the most part from a lot of these guys. Good recoveries as Marlon Mordan played it smart, played it safe, and kept it consistent to be able to be your winner here in the iRacing Happy Hour Formula Renault 3.5 Series with Carlos Larisha with the fastest lap of the race, right behind him in second.
Give him the extra point, per se. Eric Wierzymski was the final person on the podium. Thomas Chulamon finished in 4th. Yuki Shibakawa finishes 5th. Jorge Lopez Exposito was 6th. Nicolas Maranel was 7th. Lucas Raskowitz 8th. Victor Odd 9th. And Fran Leman Garcia, with the missing engine cover, completes the top 10 at the Red Bull Ring.
Wouldn't be me speaking on twitch.tv/iRacing if I didn't get something wrong. Marlon ran the fastest lap of the race on the last lap of the 16.885. So once again, I have lied to you, audience. My apologies. Moving down the order here a little bit. Luke the Looker Brooker coming in at 11th, and then I think we're only going to be going over the top 10. I just wanted to say Luke again. But yeah, really, really good race. I expected a lot of them to fan out, and me and you would be talking about sports or something. But lots of good battles everywhere in that. Really fun to watch, really impressive. Made me want to try and drive the car, as I think we have Carlos with a Peepo happy in chat. Good job, Carlos. Unfortunately, couldn't get it done for the win there, but closed down on Marlon and put it much. There we go.
Hey!
Luke the Looker Brooker coming home in 11th. Zach Johnson not knowing how to click a button. Tell me something I don't know.
Dots on me.
Dennis Cornu in 12th place. Ale Kochman in 13th, still said the name wrong. That's what he gets for finishing 13th outside of the top 10. Alberto Baroni, 14th. Maximilian Thiele coming home in 15th. 16th place is Mikhail Scherdel. Stefan Van Hal in 17th. 18th, Walter Papelier. Bob McDonald, 19th. And then Alberto Cuesta coming home, rounding out the top 20.
Gerard Boldu, Olaf van der Speck, and Michael Schelab. Your final 3 drivers in the running order. Once again, if you haven't had the chance to check out World of Outlaws Dirt Racing, that is available now on both the Microsoft and PlayStation stores. You can download it wherever you are in the world, so long as you have an Xbox One, an Xbox Series X or Series S, a PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5. Also, Keaton, what should we look for in the next race of the Porsche Tag Heuer Esports Super Cup?
I mean, it's going to be a lot of drafting down the Camel Straight, very similar to what we had at Watkins Glen, which was a heck of a race to watch. If you haven't seen it, go check it out on our YouTube channel. But super, super fun race from those guys. To have them at Spa, such a world-renowned racetrack, is going to be a heck of a watch. And James, that's not all we've got coming up on the schedule this month.
The World Center of Racing to close out the spring semester for the eNASCAR College iRacing Series powered by Daystar League. Again, all eyes on Logan Clampett. He's won every race in the spring so far. No one has ever won 4 races in a row in this series. He will look to become the very first driver to pull that off, but Daytona is so tricky, and so much is out of your hands. Who knows whether or not he'll be able to make that happen. Then, keeping an eye on the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series May 2nd, the next time they are on air. Convenient that on Kyle Busch's birthday, the series heads to his home track, Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Race broadcast starts at 9 p.m. Eastern. The pre-race countdown to green, fueled by Wendy's, comes your way at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time, and that you can see on iRacing's Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube channels. Lots of fun. Las Vegas, usually one of the most entertaining races of the year. This is a series that puts a lot of its best product out when they go visit mile and a half tracks. So, Keaton, that's a show. That's a fun show. I think, if anything, I learned how to pronounce a lot of Turkish today. Ale Goshman. That's what I really want to get that right, because that's the only one I felt sort of like I was, tripped up. But we covered a lot. We covered Vegemite sandwiches. Mm-hmm. We covered you imitating other people. What else did we cover, Keaton?
We need to work on our Polish, and I think if we're going to end it on a semi-serious note, that we need to take a little bit more look at the Renault 3.5, because that was a heck of a race. Battle for the lead, mistakes here in the midfield. There was action, there was drama. It was a lot of fun, James, and I'm glad I could share this with you. It was a really good way to spend an afternoon.
The thrill of victory and the agony of defeat for Malo Modan. The thrill of victory for everybody else. An opportunity to regroup. There's a whole huge bunch of racing here, and you can run this until Monday night midnight UET or UCT or standard time. I forget exactly what the abbreviation is. Kenny, you might be able to help me out on that. But a good look here at some of the final shots we'll bring you from the Red Bull Ring. For Keaton Kushin and our entire team at iRacing, I am James Pike. Thank you so much for watching our coverage of the Formula B Series featuring the Renault 3.5. As a reminder, head to iRacing.com in order to join iRacing, get your subscription set up, and if you're new, 40% off is available to you. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we look forward to seeing you next time here on iRacing social media channels.